AI really doesn't replace judgment. It gives us more time for work that actually matters, relationships and creative problem solving. So it's just the ways you can use it is mind blowing. And I think investment banking is a good career to get into. I'm worried. I just see honestly, it replacing so much knowledge work as it gets better and better. And especially people on the hourly billed model. We're on a success fee model in investment banking. And although a lot of the work to make us do quicker and better, we're basically conveying information.
Hi, all. Welcome to another podcast. So this podcast is part of Tracxn's anniversary, and we are interviewing investment banking clients from the North American region. So today I'm excited to introduce Mr. Tom Goldblack, a seasoned leader and middle market deal maker whose career spans more than 3 decades in investment banking and corporate finance. Tom, he's a founder and managing partner of Ravinia Capital, a boutique advisory firm he launched in 1998 that specializes in strategic M&A advisory, distressed investing, and tailored liquidity solutions for business owners. Please welcome a trusted advisor to entrepreneurs, lenders, and investors, Tom Goldblack. Hi, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Narayan, for having me. It's my pleasure to do this, and I know you've got an outreach to all sorts of people in the investment community, and some people just starting out, some veterans, and it's my pleasure to share my knowledge in these changing days. It's really exciting.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So thank you for taking your time. So I'll start with my first question, which is obviously the background, how you came into investment banking and your experience in the last 30 years.
Sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate that request. And I'm proud that we built Ravinia Capital into a leading sell-side boutique focused on middle market M&A, restructuring, distress, helping private business owners exit for the most using our skill and knowledge. And I got into, not the traditional way, but actually kind of studying accounting, which I recommend to anybody getting going. It's the language of business. It's hard to know what's going on without knowing how to read the statements. Went to law school, which helps with negotiation, and went to business school, which would help as well. But pretty much everything valuable I've learned from experience, and the tougher experience you learn more from. So I had the luck of being in operations in various roles. But what I really truly love is, and why I love being an investment banker, is I love transactions. And so that is, kind of how I got into it, is really trying to, help people the most I can in transactions. And, comes from experiences, even as a kid, playing games, playing poker, just the strategy, all that stuff. I just love investment banking because it pulls it all together. You got to have emotional intelligence. You have to have financial skills. You have to have project management skills. Lately, you got to have really forefront technology skills. So in Ravinia, I'm proud of our track record. We've recently won several awards for deals. We won the M&A Advisor Deal of the Year for Roti Mediterranean, keeping it alive in a bankruptcy auction. Recently named by Cranes Magazine a notable deal maker. And just last week, got the 2025 ABF Journal's Legends and Leaders Award. So I'm active in many associations, and I think that the best deals get done through relationships, not spreadsheets.
Yeah, that's great, Tom. As a continuation of that, I'm sure that you might have done like hundred thousands of transactions in the last many years. So which one is on top of your mind, like that one which is very notable and you always cherish that?
Yeah, well, you're kind of almost as good as your latest deal. And as a matter of fact, I have a saying. I often say that no bad mood is so bad that a good lead can't get me out of it. And unfortunately, it's true. But a couple trends, two that just come to mind recently that I'm very proud of. One would be the allied healthcare deal we did 2 years ago, which was down in St. Louis, which was a company that was actually scheduled to close. It was in the newspapers. The union been notified, and I got brought in to consider selling a division. And immediately saw that, like, you know what, there's could be value here, and I think companies are worth more as going concerns, and you run an effective process, you can achieve that result. And so, although everybody was skeptical, I got a chance to do it, convinced the board that it was in their interest to give me an opportunity. And we got out to market in 30 days or less and got some offers and changed the whole thinking around. Ended up having to work with the union to rehire people, and had a successful transaction, and the company is thriving now. I'd mentioned that we just won an award last year for the Roti, which is a well-known Mediterranean chain, which again was had in a bankruptcy sale, and most of the buyers were were thinking of like shutting it down and just using the locations. And we used our skills in the process, to go broad and bring in, and we ended up selling it to an obscure buyer, Edible Arrangements of all people. And they now are running the company and bringing their skills to it, and again, thriving. So it's just a wonderful thing when not only can you enjoy the whole art of the deal and all the dynamics that go in, but you're actually making real impact in keeping things alive that could have closed.
Great. And I believe that's your expertise also, like in Ravinia Capital, like distressed deals is where you got awards and multiple recognitions also you have gotten the same thing.
Yeah, we have. It's interesting. We're certainly known for that, but we do an equal amount of healthy deals. And you know what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So working on tough deals has made us really better. And we're getting the best we've ever been now. And really, we'll get into it, embracing technology. But we're certainly experts in distress deals. And there's a whole system of laws and bankruptcy and restructuring and just how to run the process. And if it's a bankruptcy sale, there's something called a stalking horse and how to do that. And so we've had a lot of success, and we're well known in that community. But I feel we're equally strong in the healthy deal space, and we bring that same type of effort and attention. And we really don't. A lot of M&A is kind of been collegiate. It's private equity funds, and they use investment bankers. That have relationship with them. And so when a smaller family business needs to sell and they hire somebody, they have to be careful that they might be hiring an industry specialist, but all their bread is buttered from the people that could be buying. And so the last thing we want to do is be friends with the buyers. So we're going to work for the client, run a really thorough, tough process. And I think keeping the process, the same things that make for a successful distress process, go into making a healthy sale process, because there's vulnerability in an M&A process when you start to go to market. It's always a private process, and we use something called a teaser, which is an anonymous sell sheet with an NDA to get people into the process, and then they're legally bound not to disclose. But as you get out, things can get out, and it's very nerve-wracking and scary for business owners. So what we do, our approach in both distressed and in is to do as much work up front as quickly as possible to make it kind of frictionless for buyers to come in, so they can really analyze things. It doesn't take months, and maybe it doesn't even take weeks. It takes days, because we've got everything that might be needed is already done. So I'm talking about getting sell-side due diligence, bringing in a third-party accounting firm. I'm talking about if it's a property, you need to get an environmental report, or you can't sell something that takes a certain amount of time, get it done. The diligence room takes a certain amount of time, having it organized. And if there's complicated issues, we'll have memos written about it. We do something unique in the M&A, which we're finding more and more success from as part of our process as a webcast that's working with the management to the buyers confidentially. They can't see each other, and we're finding these things more and more. And so there's just a lot of things that go into it, but we're equally successful at healthy sales and in distressed sales. But I do like the distressed sales also because it's like there's a tent line. There's really something has to happen. We're making a real impact. But we like the healthy sales too, and it's exciting to run that process and walk the management and the owners, from start to finish to it, and make it easy for them, make them enjoy it. But there's so much. Every deal is different.
That's great, Tom. So we are in February, or like almost end of February. So I would like to understand, like, what's your top focus for 2026?
Well, our top focus for 2026 is deal flow, as it always is. It's the M&A is cyclical, and each investment bank is kind of there's no just. Every deal is unique and comes in from different referral sources, and you got to win that mandate and you got to close that deal. Deal flow is number one. We're growing our team and investing in the next generation of Ravinia. So we're looking, just to really develop and make those people kind of know how to use the tools and have the attitude we have about getting deals done. So exciting. We're working on AI integration. And we're actively deploying AI across the firm to work faster and smarter. It changes so quickly that really the lesson is you got to be flexible. You got to be willing. And for anybody in this world, you got two choices. You can either get run over by AI, or you can try to get in front of it and make it your tool, make yourself much more effective. So we're nimble and quick. So I think we have advantage here. I don't know for how long. So we're really using this opportunity. But it still takes every message. It still makes dumb mistakes, does brilliant stuff, and it does dumb stuff. You got to have the wisdom. You can't rely on it because it really doesn't know a lot of time, no matter what you do. So we got to be careful with it. Everybody does. So we're thought leadership, like being on a podcast like yours, Narayan, and we're continuing to build our brand. We've won many awards for speaking, content. I spend an enormous amount of time, as any investment banker should, building relationships and going to conferences. We're active members, the ACG, TMA, Turnaround Management Association, Private Directors Association, SFNet, all sort of alphabet soup. But I also would advise anybody, if you're going to be in associations, don't dabble, get involved, become part of that community. So we're optimistic about the future, and I'm probably more excited than any time in my career.
That's super, Tom. So you have experience of 30 years. When you started investment banking, maybe it might be pen and diary, or it might be a computer, then an Excel sheet and a CD, and now it's AI, like mobile. So how do you accommodate this change?
Well, I've been it's funny because it's like my dad was so excited when the spreadsheet came along, and then I remember the first time I saw a fax coming through from Hong Kong in a place, and I'm like, oh my God! And then email started up, and it was just such a novel way to communicate, and then I was the early one with the BlackBerry, and going around, and that really unchained you from your desk. And so much has changed, but the change that just is happening now, we don't even know the impacts, and we're trying to be incorporated. It definitely can make us better in many ways. We're trying to make it part of our culture, not just a personal experiment. AI really doesn't replace judgment. It gives us more time for work that actually matters, relationships and creative problem solving. So this is it's just the ways you can use it is mind blowing, and so I could talk on and on and on about it. But then the basic stuff doesn't change. And I think investment banking is a good career to get into. I'm worried. I just see, like, honestly, like, it replacing so much knowledge work as it gets better and better. And especially people on the hourly billed model. We're on a success fee model in investment banking. And although a lot of the work to make us do better and we're basically conveying information, but I don't see how it's going to replace those relationships and the judgment and the credibility you have. You can't really match things up that easily. At least not now, especially in difficult situations, or a personal business owner walking them through that. So it's a wonderful career to get into, investment banking. But again, you've really got to be on top of it and make sure that you're learning these tools and be flexible. It's interesting. We were with ChatGPT, and I was so excited about that. And then we recently migrated to Claude, and now it's exciting. And now we're getting presentations that people are saying, "Oh, there's another thing that's even better," and it's just like, whoa! I can stand still for a minute because I'm just getting used to how to make this thing even better. So it's an exciting time, but you have to embrace that, and you have to stay focused. You have to really stay focused on what matters, because you can go down a million rabbit holes. So with us, it's really getting deals done. It's getting clients in. It's making sure we give them the best quality service and close that deal. You always got to be looking out, and staying fresh with your network. It's an ever evolving game. So you can't just rest on your laurels, but you can build on that, all those relationships and knowledge that you've obtained.
So AI plus human interaction and networking is the ultimate choice.
Yeah, I would say, advice for someone starting in investment banking, and I say this to our own people too, is relationships matter. Your network is your career. Every deal ends, but relationships are going to compound. So stay out there, make relationships. Stay relevant. This is very important. Be reliable. Do what you say you're going to do. Sounds simple, but it's rare. If you say you're going to get back to somebody, get back to them. If you're not going to get back to them, tell them, I've got your message. It's going to take a little time, but we will revert. Be dependable. Stay curious. Especially nowadays. You got to understand the industry, the models, the tech is changing. Don't just rely. Embrace the technology. I think, like, advice to younger people getting out too is to really make it easy for those above you. Don't just take an assignment and do it. But if you see something wrong, in the right way, say, hey, here's something we should be thinking about. Always be asking people, like, hey, I've got a little extra time here. Is there anything else I can do here to help? Or think of the things to do that you can help. And so that's going to really build your career. Is really to make yourself, like, people depend on you and you're reliable. That's a lot of it. I've been lucky. Had so many great. There's nothing better an investment banker than when you're working on a great deal and winning it, and the camaraderie. Now, there's some terrible deals that are some terrible experiences, and you deal with tough people, and you kind of learn how to deal with that too. And I've learned over time, it's a little more emotional intelligence. And when I was a younger investment banker, I had to be the alpha. I had to be like right. And so if somebody challenged me in a meeting and kind of came at me, and I felt it was my duty to show everybody how strong I am, and kind of talk them back down and argue and yell even. And what I've learned now is that is counterproductive. And so no matter what goes on, no matter what, is to try to take a breath, have a calm demeanor, and let that deflected, you hear them, and then I understand you're upset, so so to take it to your advantage and stay constant and stay cool. With investment banking, the real skill I find, and this I don't believe can be replaced by AI. The most important, one of them, there's so many things, but is every deal you work on is going to have at least one what I call breaking point. So that means that you reach a deal. Let's say it's a letter of intent, and the two parties come together, or even and you have a mutual understanding at that point in time, and it's in writing even. But then a couple months later, something happens. My memories change, leverage of the deal changes, and what thought was an agreement really wasn't, or the company doesn't perform well during that month, or it performs better. Something happens. The deal is going to break. So this is where we really earn our commission. This is really important stuff. So now you can't just let that deal fall apart. You have to jump into action. You have to now think about, how can I get these parties back together? Now, to get a deal to the finish line, it takes a lot. Everything comes out. You have to have really committed parties. And that's a lesson too. Don't work with parties that seem half committed. If they haven't done their work in the diligence room, and these days with the virtual deal, you can see every move they make. If they really haven't done, you're taking a risk, because they're just trying to buy that deal. Private equity funds, it's so competitive for them. When they get a deal, trade it down. Back to the breaking point. So you gotta bring them together. You have to do so. So you have to figure, where is that mutual interest? And still, even to this day, if you can get on, you better get them on the phone, get them on Zoom, get them on TV, or get on a plane and get people together and get that deal back together. Now maybe the circumstances change. You have to be honest about that. But if you don't do something, you're not going to close the deal. And that takes a lot. And that's where you really stay in this game for the long term, is you actually get deals closed.
Thanks, Tom. If you are an investment banker who is looking for some advice, so this is one great piece of advice which Tom have told just now. So this would be one of the highlights of our interview also. So thanks a lot, Tom, for joining and sharing all this information with us. Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And all our viewers also would be doing the same.